So here we go. And thank you guys for showing up. And I guess Happy New Year. Did everyone have a good break?
Oh, yes.
No, I had got my second shingles shot, and the first one when I got it, my leg was sore for like 5 days. So I thought, oh, well, I didn't want my 6 months to run out and I'd have to start over. So over break on the Monday, then I went in and got my second booster shingles shot. And so not only was my arm sore for 3 days, but I had a reaction. So like I had a headache, an earache, and my neck hurt. So my break was pretty short.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
That's
But at least it wasn't a major reaction. So I was happy about that. And so now if I ever do get the shingles, they should be very minimal. And the reason I was worried about it was my dad actually got the shingles about 5 years ago, right before I got the first shot. And he got the shingles really bad and he still has after effects from it. So I thought, well, if I could get it was worth it.
Wow. So it almost sounds like the reaction you got was from a COVID vaccine. So you're just going to be ready for that.
What I've been hearing, so that's kind of scary too.
Yeah, and actually, a lot of my teacher friends here in Phoenix are getting vaccinated now. So we're hoping that in the next few months things will be back to normal, and we'll be going to conferences again over the summer, which will be nice to get out. Yep. How about yourself, Kathleen? Do anything fun?
No, it's quarantine.
Yep. Well,
Just like everybody else.
yeah, but at least you didn't have students to deal with for 2 weeks.
That's true. Yeah. Yeah. We're back. We just went back last week. So we're half days right now, half people.
Okay, so you're doing still hybrid?
Yes.
Which state are you in?
New Jersey.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So this is the first time I'm joining you, so I'm not sure.
Okay. Well, welcome.
Well,
thank you.
Last week we went back. We're still kind of in a hybrid model, but before Christmas we were doing the A and B cohorts. So we had half of our kids on Monday and Tuesday. The maintenance would clean on Wednesday. Then we'd have the second half of the kids on Thursday and Friday. And the opposite 2 days, the other whole half of the class would be virtual both times. So we were doing students in class and virtual at the same time. So that was insane every day. And then the school board voted that we could still have kids do virtual, but we're doing 4 days in person. So Monday and Tuesday, we have all of our students. Wednesday, we're supposed to give all of our students a virtual assignment, but meet with the students who are 100% virtual. And then Thursday and Friday, we have all the students who are face-to-face again. And it's been a little crazy because with the teaching cooking, I've had the students add, students drop, students who are virtual, now they're not virtual. And so it's a little bit better because I'm down to one student who's actually virtual, but she didn't show up today and she shut off early Monday. So I'm like, I don't know, I have to call her parents, you know how that goes.
Yeah.
All the find out if it's the internet or if the child's not following through. But I'm liking the face-to-face better, although I had right away last week, I had a teacher's aide out on quarantine and then a student on quarantine. And now this week it's only Wednesday and I have 2 more students out on quarantine. So I don't know how long we're going to last on the 4 days a week, but I'm hoping it straightens out.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it's been crazy. And this year I'm only teaching half-time instead of full-time. So I only have 50 kids instead of 100. So I'm like, if I have that many out of just the few that I have, it's kind of scary.
Wow. Yeah. So, and actually, that's still a lot of kids because I've been talking to other teachers, and their numbers drop down to like less than a dozen.
Yeah.
I have a class with 1. Everybody else is virtual.
Oh, sure. And Kathleen, what state did you say you were in?
New Jersey.
New Jersey. Okay. And how many hours a day do you teach?
From officially 7:07 to 2:32. So
Okay. But I mean, you have a preparation time in between there somewhere.
Yep, yep, I do.
Okay.
I do.
And
I'm
how many children do you have normally in an hour if you were in person?
15.
Okay, and see, I used to have 24 students an hour for 6 hours. So, and then second semester I'd have all new kids.
Oh,
So
okay.
my job used to be insane.
Yeah,
But the pay was much better than it is at 50%. So I guess it's a trade-off.
right, right.
Yeah, so you're at a comprehensive high school, right, Veronica? Or your tech center?
Um, right, no, just a public high school. Yeah.
Yeah.
We offer 4 vocational areas. The family and consumer area, we have tech ed, we have business, and I think I missed someone. Maybe I'm just counting the 4 of us because my coworker teaches all of the childcare and kind of classes, and I usually teach the culinary and the fashion and design. But for some reason, we don't have any fashion and design, and that's how I ended up being 68%. So I
Mm,
don't know what happened with that.
yeah. We're just doing that now, trying to get signups for next year. And
Yeah,
it's difficult.
our students are registering right now also, but I think that's another reason why they're having us come in person for a while so that they can get that all done while they're here. It's just that we changed administrators who do not always promote the same programs, and our previous administrator promoted all of the technical ed areas. And so, now I don't have very many kids. I'm not seeing them. They were virtual last semester. So how do you get them to sign up for foods and for fashion when you don't have any contact with them? If the person who is in the room while they're registering on computers. So there's
Right.
our administrators are the ones who are in there sometimes, and recommending what they take, or their homeroom person. So sometimes if they teach English, they'll recommend that they have taken an elective English class instead of an elective vocational class. Where when I was in school, you didn't have elective required classes. You didn't have elective English, or elective math. So now we're not only competing with the other elective areas, but we're competing with the core areas.
We're doing the same thing, same
Wow.
problem.
Yeah, I think it's nationwide now. It's become an issue.
I hope our classes, I think the thing is that we look like we're having fun. The kids are going by, they see the food,
Yeah.
in different classes because they don't finish it or whatever. And that's what, advertises us, and we don't have it. So I'm a little bit concerned.
Yeah.
And I have, I do a lot of the childcare as well. And I don't have any little guys in there. So that's going to be a problem too. So I'm just keeping my fingers crossed.
Quite the insanity, but so so since it's your first meeting, what have you done, Kathleen, that's worked out really well for you when you were doing virtual?
Um, they seem to really appreciate the digital notebooks. Um, the education folks that I have for childcare, I have them making them now, so that how much time that takes. So they're working on that's their project at the moment. They're teaching each other a chapter and making digital notebooks out of them. So it's a long project.
Cool.
Yeah.
That sounds like a great thing to get them busy.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Kathleen, I haven't used these digital notebooks, so can you explain to me what you're talking about?
You know what it is? It's basically a PowerPoint or Google Slides where you put in a whole bunch of links. There's tutorials on YouTube that explain it, and they go. And the thing is that I give it out through Google Classroom, so they each make themselves a copy, so they can type right into it. And you use the Google Slides, the master version, so they can't change any of the background information or the questions that you're asking. But you put in a text box, so they're looking at it they're not looking at it in the present mode, they're looking at it in the edit mode, so they can type into it.
Okay. I'll write that down. Thank you.
Yes.
Cool. Thanks for sharing. So I guess the same question, Veronica. What have you found that's been very useful for?
Well, we are required to use the Google Classroom, and so they did, us Google Pro, which was kind of nice. At first, I was like, "Oh, I'm not going to have time or learn any of these new features anyway, because I'm just barely swimming and not sinking." But I'm becoming more familiar with it, and I learned how to send notes to, through the on the classroom through the Pro to individual students. So I figured out that feature, and then we tried a little bit of the whiteboard. So I'm trying a few more things. And then I have like the quote of the day where you can pick, either type in your own quote or put some kind of inspirational message in. So I've been using it a little more. And at school, now that we are physically in school, last year it was a little bit of a problem because we were physically at home teaching during COVID. So now I can use my laptop computer to project my demonstrations for meetings so that my students can see the meeting. The problem is I'm still having the same problem this semester. Our administrators somehow on the parent registration form, when the students register for high school, we always had this disclaimer that the kids could be taped or their pictures could be used, and then the parents had to opt out. Well, somehow we ended up with new administrators and new secretaries. So this year, none of that is on our form. So I can't, because my kids are under 18, I can't tape my Google Meets and then run them for the kids who aren't here because I don't have permission to have the kids taped. So if I want to do that, then I have to do all my, tape all my demonstrations after I'm done at noon, which would be okay. Like last semester, I only taught 2 different classes on Monday and 2 different classes on Tuesday because they were blocked. But this semester, I'm teaching 4 different classes every single day. So there's no way I'm doing 4 new demonstrations every day. So it's just kind of crazy but they said they would put a note so that they would make sure it's on registration next year. Not that it helps us this year, but it will help for next year.
So, I mean, I'm curious because I'm required to record all of my Google Meets and post them post them back in classrooms, which I usually forget to do. But it's interesting that you can't do it and we are required to do it.
Right. And see, it depends on your school district and your state and what they did on the legal paperwork. Like our elementary was taping theirs, but they were taping them the lessons the day the students were not there, so that then they could run the meets for the kids who weren't there and run them for some of their kids that were there and then work in small individual groups. So they taped them when students were not present, because unless we have a room full of, and even in my senior class, they're not all 18, so they can't give me permission to do it. And if you're using a different program, it may not ask that. But our Google program asks, do you have permission from every person in the room to record this meet? And I have to say no every time, which means then you're not supposed to record it. So
that's interesting. Yeah. Because I don't have that come up.
Right.
Interesting and quite annoying.
Yeah.
So
yeah. No, you don't have my permission to be recording this.
Oh, too bad. You're an adult. Yeah. So man, I never. Because like I know that most schools they always have that release clause so that you can post pictures on Facebook or whatever, and things like that. So I guess so. You can't send out a new form just to take care of that one little detail, or the school just doesn't even want to support.
Right. The school said they wanted to let it go for this year because I'd have to send it to all 50 of my kids and parents. And then what if there's one each hour that says no? So out of 4 hours, if one person says no each hour, then you can't tape that hour anyway. But I am having a problem because I was registering my students for our student organization, which is FCCLA. And I had registered the club, but now I was registering individual kids, and I ran into the same roadblock. And that's how I found out we didn't have the permission forms, because I went to the office to make sure that my kids were all opted in so that I could, on our registration for our group, it says, you have permission to use your student pictures? And come to find out we don't. So now I'm like in limbo, because the national organization will not let me skip that step or only put in the students that I right now have permission for, which means I can't have my kids compete. I can't even do anything with the student organization. So I talked to the state advisor, and she said, you're going to have to type a note and then send it home through the email and through mail to your parents, and try to get them to answer back right away so I can proceed with my student organization. So that's one of my goals tonight or tomorrow, is to get that typed up before I run out of time on it. But we weren't here in the beginning. The kids weren't coming for meetings. They weren't answering the emails. So all I did was register the big group. Now I have actual kids, and now it's kind of a roadblock again.
Oh, all that red tape, man. So the interesting challenges that we're facing, even with the pandemic. So looks like Rachel has joined us. So hello, Rachel. Are you there? Or not? Okay. Well, she'll show up sometime soon. So it's yeah, I wanted to speak about that, because I think one of the common themes that I'm hearing from all these meetings that I'm having is that once things go back to normal next year, every teacher has acquired a vast array of new skills that you would have otherwise never have touched. And then bringing that into the new digital classroom will help out, because we've been teaching for years the way we've always done it, but now you have these tools, you can do so much more than ever. So that's like the silver lining. It's like now you can do these use these digital tools. They're not as daunting as we originally thought they were a year ago, and they will be really useful. So I think education as a whole is going to benefit greatly, because that's like one of the biggest things. Like why would you want to learn all these different tools and programs and things like that? Like Flipgrid, unless if you're really really ambitious
Right.
and have a lot of time, which most of us don't.
That's right.
So yeah, so that's really good. And actually, one of the things that I like to bring up is a couple of months ago, the teacher had a brilliant idea of one of the first lessons they did it on food photography. So the first week, everyone learned how to use their smartphones or cameras and take very beautiful pictures. So so even though it's not part of your normal lesson objectives, but moving forward, every single picture that the teacher received was really really well done. Good composition, good lighting, and all that kind of stuff. So that's one of the things that I picked up on as probably one of the first things that should be taught, is how to take a good picture. And a lot of kids got really creative. Like one teacher did a challenge. Stylize a Twinkie. So they took Twinkies, which everyone can have access to, and they created some really amazing gourmet pictures from Twinkies, and then they could eat it after they're done. So but now that you're getting back into in person, I guess it's not as important as it used to be. But it'd probably be good for those remote learners that are still out there. So great, so now that we have, I guess, a new administration. How do you guys feel about the future of education under the new president now? So, and now that we don't have Betsy DeVos anymore, I don't know, not to be political, but it's definitely something that I'm looking forward to, because a refocus on education will will be really good for all of us, especially after the hammering we received this past year with pandemic. So
I think the biggest thing we have is change. We're just so used to it now that, that's each day you go in, there's something different, there's something new. So you just have to be flexible, and that's going to hopefully benefit us.
yeah, definitely. The being receptive to change. That's actually a very newly acquired skill, because, well, we all get set in our ways. we we didn't have a choice this time. So, and those who didn't accept change, I guess they're the ones who retired. Yep, great. So thanks for sharing your and actually, Veronica, which state are you in? I didn't catch that earlier.
Wisconsin.
Wisconsin. Okay.
Yes, and you're right. It did change the, force. Those of us like myself, I turned 61 last April. So, I mean, some technology I will jump on right away, because I found, for example, we changed a long time ago to Skyward grading on the computer. So we had to do attendance and grading on the computer. And our training person was looking for 5 to 10 people to pilot the program the year before. And I thought, oh my God, I hate technology. I don't want to do this. But something in me said to jump in. And then what I found was the next year, it was so much easier, because there were only a few of us with questions the first year. And then also people who had been in it the first year, she would help first, because she knew we were further along and we could keep going instead of the 45 new people who were learning the program. So in a way, I learned that sometimes it's better to jump on right away, but I'm still a little bit old school. I like to demonstrate. I've had administrators who think you should not demonstrate anything in culinary foods at all. The kids should just go ahead and jump in and make the food. I said, okay, if you have an unlimited budget, but we've had so much equipment and stuff ruined that, to me, I have, at least in the beginning when you have new kids, and I always try to check, my class and find out, because you want to know your learners first, like what skills do they have? What have they done? How much cooking have they done? So,
wow, another crazy hurdle that you have to deal with. Yeah, they just keep piling on. So it sounds like you need different administrators too, who actually believe in proper education. I've never heard of such a thing, actually. That you don't need to demonstrate.
Ask your administrator, and you could literally pick any subject or any sport, because the sport, it depends how sports drive your, you could sit there and say, well, just jumping in and then insert whatever it is. How would that work out? Or pick where your administrator came from. If they were an ex-teacher, pick that subject specifically, and they would,
right. And I was actually, I don't want to say disciplined or reprimand, but I was questioned on why my students had to take 2 weeks to cover safety and sanitation. Well, for one thing, the first couple days, they're just getting to know the students and the class and the procedures, but I checked with tech ed and other areas, and they were taking the same 2 weeks. So I was like, I don't know.
Yeah. It's standard. I mean, you just insert some different learning pathway.
We do it for almost a month.
Yeah,
for the
like
month of
2 weeks.
September.
That's very short amount of time.
You could always send them the hospital bill when kids are getting sick or something. I mean, you could do it that way too, but
And
probably wouldn't go over saying that to them.
That was my response to them was, I've been here a while. I think my safety record speaks for itself. I've had very few issues with accidents, and I think that's important.
you took the high road and answer how we all should. I would say the way what I would want to say.
Yeah, my gosh, that's I'm speechless about this, something like that. It's just I mean, it's also part of the curriculum. So so to even have be questioned about such a
Well,
thing.
the crazy thing is that's where your certification, that's your certification program part, the curriculum. I mean, what's he want you to spend one day on where the students are going to get those?
So okay, well, that's fascinating. Oh, okay.
Mm.
So I got the message from Veronica. She had to get her earbuds. That's cool. Um, so yeah, change, Um, and Kathleen, you said you're in full hybrid. Do you think you guys will be going into full um, normal classes in the next couple months or so?
I'm not sure. We have another change coming up in February that they've told us that we're going to have a change in, and we tried it in November where we went back half kids, so cohorts, but full days. That lasted 4 days. So I don't know. I think they're really determined to get the kids back in full time sometime. Superintendent wise, that's really what she would like to do, is get everything back to normal. But vaccines here are not, the teachers are 1B, they're doing 1B now, but it's not readily available at this point. Appointments are really hard to get.
Yeah, I mean that's basically how it is
Similar here.
nationwide. Is the instant the website goes up, like a minute later, all appointments are gone.
Yes. Yeah.
I had to go over and play tech support with my parents to help them get their appointment, and all they could get is it's 3.5 weeks out, and
Wow.
it's at 3 a.m. At the Arizona Cardinals football stadium. I know. It's crazy. I mean, but that was the best time. That was the best realistic time to go.
They're
I mean,
scheduling around the clock.
Yeah.
It's better than nothing, but I mean, at the
Yeah, I
same
know.
time, it's just the rollout of it. I'm not trying to get political. Our governor hasn't been the best to combat COVID. We'll put it that way. So it's understandable for some of the stuff that I've seen that's happened just over the last year. I mean, it's par for the course. So
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So a lot of people are doing like these 24-hour rollouts. So none are in New Jersey.
I haven't seen that yet.
Okay.
Where they're doing it. I can't imagine going to the stadium at 3:00 in the morning to get my shot. But you got to do
I
it.
wouldn't be surprised if they're doing. You might have better luck, but I wouldn't be surprised if that is one of your options. In the middle of the night. So
Yeah.
I mean, I look at it. It's just crazy. My parents are 76 and 74. 3 a.m. I'm not sure I'm feeling real great about them driving anywhere at 3 a.m.
Right.
That's just
Right. But
yeah.
Well, maybe you could drive them, and maybe if you're lucky, they'll have an extra shot.
Yeah, that's not. It doesn't work that way. But yeah, there's a good chance I probably will. But yeah,
I've actually seen where people have been waiting overnight in line just to see if there are any extras, because depending on how they roll it out, like in one case I saw in the news that 100 people didn't show up to get their appointed vaccines. So the 100 people who were standing outside waiting in line were the lucky recipients of that.
yes.
that's odd that they would do that, because they can't guarantee in 2 weeks that you'd have the follow up, could they?
No,
I don't know. Let's not speculate. There's no reason. Sorry, I kind of got us off sidetrack there. Sorry.
Yeah. So that's how it is. So here in Arizona, we have those 24-hour centers. So um, um,
Mm.
so Veronica, yeah, is back.
Mm-mm.
So what did you type? I missed that chat. So your district is ordering them. Took surveys who wants to get them. So the district is actually doing the administration of it. That's really nice, actually. That way that takes away
Yeah.
the if you're lucky to get on the website hassle. So and actually, I think that's the way it should be done. Where uh, cool. So they do the flu shot that way too. So I guess you guys already have the infrastructure in place to do that kind of stuff. And is that just for your district, or is that other districts in Wisconsin as well that do that? Just wondering if it's unique to you.
Hey, Rachel is on.
Oh, hey Rachel.
Hey, for some reason I could hear you, but I couldn't see you. So anyway, that's
Oh,
odd. But
uh,
I can see you fine now.
okay, that's weird. All right, so Veronica is saying that um, it's only your district, but Walgreens comes and does the shots. So so it's run by Walgreens. That's cool. All right, Rachel, thanks for joining us. Earlier we were talking about um, what we what we use that's found very useful during for remote learning. So so Kathleen and Veronica shared what they did. I think you came in at the tail end of someone's. So what have you found useful?
What I found useful is I got really good at Google Classroom. And at the beginning, in August, I just decided I was just going to embrace it and go forward with it. So anyway, that's where I am. And I am using your SurfSafe very actively. I still teach three of my class days are for demos and for regular kinds of learning. And then we do SurfSafe a couple of days a week. So anyway, I'm also working with younger students too. So in a classroom where I have 20 students, they're at 20 different levels. So anyway, which is
Wow.
okay. We are face to face still. We have issues with COVID. Like I'll get one back and then I lose one for 2 weeks. And so anyway, that's where we are. Our school district pretty much wants face to face, and we're going forward. We're Texas though. Um, so as far as the shots or whatever, those are happening, but they're not really in a consistent manner, just like what you guys are seeing. So, and our school district isn't giving us all shots. I think as teachers, we're about on the third rung in Texas. So, anyway.
So I guess you're in 1B then, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So which city are you in Texas?
We're in a small town, Bangs, which
Oh,
is
Bangs.
about,
Okay. Yes.
yes, it's right in the middle of Texas.
Yeah. Yes. I remember that was it back in August, like the rural communities in Texas were getting hit really hard, like and Santa Fe. um, were you guys spared?
Um, we have a little bit more open space out here. And so, anyway, I think that helps us. And then we're a smaller community. So I believe that helps us quite a bit. But we still, I mean, we have issues. We're social distance and everything, but they've tried to maintain all the sports activities and they've been pretty good at it. Um, so, like I say, we have some people go out and then they're replaced by others. So as much as we can, we're pretty much face to face. Now FCCLA is a little different. That'll be virtual, probably for us. So
Yeah, I think FCCLA is doing virtual nationwide actually. So I think all the state advisors are doing virtual competitions now. just because that'll put everyone on the same playing field, I guess.
What they did for us is for state competition, like I have two of my teams are already qualified, and so they have to do a virtual presentation. But in the contest where they have more higher numbers, they can do face to face, but you still have the option to do virtual. So anyway, they're encouraging us to do virtual as much as we can. So it's just going to come down to probably within the week or so, we'll decide, are we just going all virtual or what are we doing? We have to submit the same documentation basically.
Cool. Well, glad to hear that you're face to face there. It's definitely a huge plus.
Right.
How are you handling the social distancing and the disinfecting?
They're spaced out, and they're like 6 feet apart. We have to wear our mask all the time. We sanitize between class periods. I guess that's what we do.
Yeah, yeah. And actually, you know, I think what from across the board, it's actually one of the neat things that we've encountered is that the kids are very compliant with the mask, wearing their masks. So I think they're just happy to get to be in school.
Yes, that is true.
Well, great. So that's really cool that that you're able to do that and you know still stay safe. But we'll see how this next few weeks goes with the new strain coming through. um, so far, it hasn't landed in Arizona yet, but I can't remember if your states have the new variant. Yeah.
We do. Yeah, it's starting to come around.
So it's hitting New Jersey.
Yeah, New York, New Jersey. That we're all Connecticut.
Yeah.
We're all
Yeah, California is getting it really bad. So our neighbors to the west, and I think it's in Texas too. I believe I remember seeing. So, gosh, yeah, it's like a race. You know, it's a race against time. Definitely. Cool. So, I asked this earlier, Rachel. How hopeful are you with the new administration's and their focus on education?
I like what the lady said before. We're used to change, so anything can happen. We won't be surprised. So I'm off. But anyway, change. Every day's a new day.
Yeah, every day's a change. Yeah. Well, like things to get settled back to normal again too. So, and all that. Well, so if I think you guys have actually had a great conversation earlier. So, if you have any questions, for each other, this is actually the best time to voice them. So, I don't want to be the only one asking questions here.
Can I ask, are you guys using, did you use gloves before and are you using gloves now?
Veronica, I can't hear you.
Hmm.
I don't think your microphone's set up on your headset properly. Nope, still can't hear you.
Still not.
You're not muted, so it's your headset that's.
When you plugged in the earphones, there's a good chance it overrode the microphone and turned it off.
Yep. So I guess unplug it, see if it works then.
Okay. You just type.
So or say that unplug the headphones and it might work again. Or just type in your answer. Yeah, that's a good question. No one's ever asked about the gloves thing. Huh.
Mm,
Okay.
okay.
All right. So Veronica says, when she unplugs the headphone, it still doesn't work. Probably have to log out. Oh,
Okay.
bummer. Okay, she writes, she wore gloves in the advanced club class, but not in the others. So,
Okay. Okay.
and then she wears them in all classes now. And Rachel wrote, gloves, no, unless unless standard need to use them in preparation like salads. So
Mm, okay. All right. I was just curious to see what was going on with that.
yeah, are you gloving or no gloves?
We started off doing it, and then it kind of went by the wayside. And then we had somebody come through and ask us about it. So we're like, there hasn't been any kind of, nobody's told us what to do, but we just don't want anybody looking that close at us. So we want to kind of go under the radar. So
Yeah.
I was just curious.
Yeah, and a lot of it has to deal with state regulations. So, but I think
Right.
in teaching you don't need gloves, and
No.
they create their own hazards.
Yeah.
So yeah,
The false sense of cleanliness. I would rather have them just wash their hands all the time than have
Yeah.
them think that they're like, there's something in the gloves that's going to keep it germ free.
yeah, very true. It's like it's like I'm gonna work with meat, and then let's now put together a salad
Yeah.
or something like that. Yeah, no, yeah, it's definitely it's um, only good for if you're actually serving food. I guess is the best way to put it.
Yes. Okay.
Cool. Any other questions anybody else has? So
Oh, okay.
I don't know if Veronica's typing anything, but it doesn't look like so. So no other questions?
Good. Thanks for putting this together. It's nice to see people from other places, and we're
Yeah.
all doing the same thing.
Thank you. It's been a journey, so to speak. You know, actually, because we were all so busy, like I actually had more people show up during break, during the winter break meeting. But throughout the semester, it just like it just whoever can make it makes it, um, and it is nice. It's nice to just see each other, hear what other people are doing in various states, and as we all plod forward through this new normal.
Right. Right.
So another really good idea that I heard from another teacher is that they're actually doing food subscriptions, kind of like kind of like the stuff that you would subscribe to, but so like like for some fee every week, they create these like food boxes, and it's for faculty only. So then they sign up, and every week, like one they get a whatever they get something that the kids prepare. So it's actually a pretty cool idea. Uh, uh,
Like Blue Apron or something like that.
kind of like that, yeah, kind of like Blue Apron. Yeah, that's what I was thinking about. So as another way to fundraise, because a lot of people can't sell to the public anymore like you
Hmm.
used to. I don't know. Are you guys able to do that? I know that's really big in like career tech programs, but
Yeah, we're not career in tech.
yeah.
So we're just cooking for ourselves.
And Rachel, we kind of see you. um, I don't know what's going on there.
Mm.
Okay, so Veronica says, oh wait, so I forgot to read her comment earlier. It's really hard with cutting because we do not have the cutting gloves the technical college has. And she also says that a colleague of hers is doing soups, fresh or frozen, but only for staff. So yeah, so soups is very easy to do. You can make large quantities of it.
Mm, mm.
Yeah, so like cookies, brownies, soups, you know, things that you can prepare en masse, and people always like it. Yeah, and actually, it was like in December when they were doing like holiday cookies and stuff like that. Pies. One loves pies. They were making pies, in ways to try to make a few bucks, so that they for the program. Because we have to get creative with fundraising now.
Yeah.
So, with that being said, if no one else has any other questions, or things that they'd like to share, we could conclude this meeting this week. And
Okay.
so, anybody
Well,
else have anything?
thanks again. I appreciate it.
Anybody else have any other questions? Anything? Nope. All right. Cool. Well, I do appreciate everyone who are here, and thanks again, and see you at a future meeting sometime
Okay.
in the next few weeks or so. Thanks for coming.